Hello, everyone. Welcome to round two of the first round of Swiss, of the first day of Swiss, rather, for the NACL Open qualifiers. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and we are pretty deep into drafts so far, as we have a lot of interesting bans, a lot of meta bans as well for both of these teams so far. We have Rengar, Lucian, Yasuo taken off the table, Jax, Fiora, Poppy as well, as we already have some really fast lock-ins. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, Thousand, because this is already pretty bonkers. Yeah.
She's just really good in comp. So I'm not surprised ISU want to go back to this. I do like the switch up of the Senna this time around because I think it does give them a little bit more DPS. That was the big thing ISU lacked. And I like the response here too of the Trundle going into that Sejuani. That is the exact counter that you always want at the Sejuani. It is why a lot of people will ban Trundle when they are going to pick that Sejuani.
Mm-hmm.
Tarek locked up here. Are we getting Tarek Leona? That's a thing I have seen, and I'm gonna be a little sad if I do see that here.
That would be insane, I think. I think they already have so much tank on their side. They'd be so melee heavy too, right? Like you're picking up a pretty strong melee, like if they go Leona, right? Like they go Tarek Leona, they pick this kind of cheese strat, right? Then like they are locking themselves pretty heavily into melee against a Trundle, and a Seraphine.
Toronto?
Right? Toronto? New Trundle nickname unlocked?
Yeah. Toronto Trundle. I need that skin. He's just very
He's gonna have a hockey stick.
Yeah.
It's just I think that skin already exists. I don't think it's got at least one.
No,
there's
that's
at least
Jax.
one. Yeah, you're
Jax.
right. Trundle can be
Regardless,
for the opposing team.
Yeah, Neela is going to be the ban here, which is a good pairing with the Tarek. So this is ISU knowing a bit of their matchups here, taking out what is good with Tarek here. Singed also being banned. I'm not sure exactly. I think I don't know what's happening. I don't know if ISU knows what's happening. We are just getting the Caitlyn, so it is going to be a standard bot lane. We're not going to be getting double support item, at least from Cosa here. I'm assuming ISU are going to be going for the double support item, which we did see in the last game as well. It is a very strong pickup on this patch if you have champions that can both build support items and you get the Blood Song alongside another really powerful support item. It's just really good if you know how to make it work.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the double support end really strong. Like we saw it last game, or the last game that we had casted. Excuse me. We saw between ISU and Reluminate that this was a very, very strong option, especially for those Senna type lanes where Senna is mostly going to be fasting, right? And it's just interesting this Tarek lock in. I mean, like you said, like we're not going to get that double support item, so Tarek here is mostly not going to have a fun time in this lane, especially with Seraphine Senna. Like there's not going to be a world where this Tarek is really going to be able to really capitalize on his passive or even get in a stun. Really, like double range for Tarek is a nightmare. He can press Q, heal Caitlyn like a little bit, and then maybe double auto a cannon minion to try to heal her again. But this is mostly going to be a rather tough lane for the Tarek here. But the conceit is if you can get to team fighting stage, if you can get to late game, then this will be significantly better. Tarek is not great in lane, really good in team fights.
Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle. But Kassadin, we're seeing, Cosa going for the late game here, looking to just try and scale up. ISU we're kind of seeing a somewhat similar, a little bit better scaling here from ISU this game. The Trundle will scale decently considering the fact that Sejuani exists in this game. It's just a really strong counter. The Mordekaiser is that early game powerhouse to work off of, and the Azir and the Senna now have that DPS that they need in order to chew through what this Taric and Sejuani will be able to do in the later portions of the game. Cosa, their early game is Caitlyn and Bel'Veth. Those are the two champions they really have to pivot off of. Bel'Veth snowballs extremely hard if she's able to get early fights and start to get a little bit of a snowball off of that. But if she doesn't get that, she doesn't really, despite the fact that she technically has infinite scaling, it's not terribly great. She doesn't really pop off late like you're going to see from that Senna or the Azir on the other side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be certainly interesting for sure. Bel'Veth, Kassadin, like you said, these are going to be some, it was picked rather quickly, this Bel'Veth and Kassadin. So they must be cooking something. Something must be cooking in the kitchen. Because I was doing like a whole lot of research, the past like week. And, not a lot of these names have been popping up. So interesting to see this kind of like out of nowhere, I'll say, comp. Mostly from my research, it's just really tough to see how Taric is going to do here, especially paired with a Caitlyn. I'm harping on this a whole lot, mostly because I am a support player, and Taric is my favorite champion, and it's always tough to be like, well, Taric is fun, but like a lot of times unplayable. So I'm interested to see how Cosa is going to play around this Taric here.
Yeah, the Taric is a weird champion. It's kind of one of those champs where if you're really good at it, people don't know how to play against it. But if you're not terribly great with it, or if somebody's really prepared for it, it does have its weaknesses shown. The stun is, dodgeable. It's got that little bit of weirdness to it. If it's just you're moving, but it's static with you, and that has a lot of weird movement that can go along with that. The Caitlyn being long range means that it's not going to be used aggressively. It's always going to be defensively. And in that bot lane, Caitlyn's not stunning anybody with the Taric E.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, it's really going to be for the ganks. The Bel'Veth coming in. If you get the knock up with the Bel'Veth, you easily get the Taric stun after. Kassadin could reposition it too, but that also then requires your communication. So there's a lot of things that could go into this. But later on into the game, that Taric ult will be really, really huge, especially in stopping that Seraphine from being capitalized on.
Yeah, this is going to be certainly an interesting match for sure. And like you said, like the Taric stun, going to be a lot better on those melee champions. I did want to note that we don't exactly know where this Bel'Veth is going, right? Like this could still be a jungle Bel'Veth. It could be a top lane Bel'Veth. Like it could yeah. We got a laning Sejuani, okay, and then I'm assuming this is where Bel'Veth is going.
Yeah,
no, Jungle Kassadin.
Jungle Kassadin. I would be really surprised if Bel'Veth is going. I don't think Bel'Veth can do anything but jungle.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's really that horribly surprising. What can be a bit of an issue, and this could happen. And the big thing here is, while generally Mordekaiser is like, oh cool, like ganks aren't super great for me because I just want to pull them into the death zone anyway. Trundle can ult before the Mordekaiser ult goes.
Oh no.
And that can steal a lot of resistances, which then Mordekaiser steals more. Sejuani is all about how defensively she can be in those matchups, and if you're stealing that much of it, well, sucks to be you.
Yeah. It's Sejuani is going to be really SOL. I mean, her dueling potential isn't that really great either, especially against like a Mordekaiser, right? Like a lot of her power comes from having other champions to kind of help stack her own passive, right? And she's definitely got that in spades once these team fights start happening, right? That Sejuani is going to be really good once this top lane stops being an island and joins the rest of the team. But yeah, in those 1v1 scenarios, Mordekaiser is going to have the advantage hands down, and then, throw a Trundle into the mix, and that Sejuani is just going to fall over.
Yeah, it'll be a bit of an issue. Now, one thing to keep in mind is while there isn't going to be a lot of engage potential on that bot side, Seraphine Senna are a weaker early game bot lane. Caitlyn
Mm-hmm.
has the capability to poke them out a little bit there. Senna Seraphine should be able to shield and heal that up, but the pressure can be a bit of a problem. And if that lane starts to get out of control in terms of Caitlyn controlling that, it's gonna be a little bit before the Seraphine Senna can actually do something about that.
Yeah.
Trundle then kind of becomes important, but then Caitlyn can net out. Tarek can stun to stop Trundle from getting in on there. There's a lot of capability to play aggressive in that bot lane without really being punished too hard for it. And Azir into Kassadin. Kassadin just kind of gets to free scale for a lot of that. It's poke, but Kassadin has that defensive capability with the passive to just
Mm-hmm.
negate a lot of that damage. So Kassadin should be able to get through this, and that's a lot of magic damage Kassadin will be able to soak up later on.
Yeah, not to mention that like these AP assassins have been rather well positioned in this first couple of patches of season 14, or at least this first patch of season 14. And you know, Cassin just slots really well into that. Like there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of magic damage on that opposing team. And that magic shield is going to be very useful for Cassidon as well. There's a lot of spells being flung around here, and that's going to be really, really good. Saying right, just want to drive home how good this Cassidon is positioned for this particular game, and also for this meta as well. So really, really good pickup there. I'm excited for these team comps. I think if I want to give a favoritism here, I think I like ISU's comp just a little bit more. There's just a lot. I feel like there's more synergy here. They don't really have any like, well, I guess, you know, if we get to this point, then this pick is going to be better. Or like if we get to this stage, then this one's going to be like, obviously they're scaling champions here through Senna and Seraphine. Like their laning isn't going to be that great, but they still have, I feel like, more synergy than a Caitlyn and a Tarek. Right, they're still going to have a little bit
Mhm.
better of a more cohesive idea down in that bot lane by themselves than the Caitlyn and the Tarek.
I mean, the big thing that I'm really looking at here is will Tarek ult be responded at the right time?
Yeah.
You get a zero, you get Seraphine ult. If you block those out with the Tarek ult, or if you at least have the Tarek ult in response, like you start it before those hit, you're given a lot of time where all the engage, all that immediate push afterwards is going to be negated.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just turn it back around because the damage is, Seraphine is very cooldown dependent. Azir, he's got DPS, but he's got to reposition those soldiers. Mordekaiser, Trundle, they're very cooldown dependent. And then Caitlyn, Kassadin, they're going to be able to reposition. They're going to be able to set back up. And then Sejuani, Belveth can just frontline enough for that to allow Kassadin and Caitlyn to do what they do.
I guess. I mean, I don't want to say you're. I don't want to. I do definitely disagree, but I don't see that your analysis particularly wrong. I just think that like there's got to be enough consistent damage for ISU that like even if that ultimate comes out, I feel like they could wait and then just immediately turn around, right? Because like you're right that like Azir needs to have his soldiers positioned properly, but that's still just like once a consistent damage source. Trundle still very auto attack focused, and so
Yeah,
is yeah.
but
Yeah,
you're not hitting Kassadin, you're not hitting a Belveth. They're going to be
right.
able to just reposition. Caitlyn can net out if she's given that Tarek ult to give time to survive. I worry there's enough to reset a fight if Tarek gets the ult off, but I think that's the real big thing to watch for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here we are. We're getting into the game in just a moment here, but yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of questions here. Obviously, like we still have two very strong team compositions here, both very interesting for sure. And obviously, Thousand and I have our own thoughts about how we want to deal, how we think each of these teams are going to succeed here. But I think the only way to truly see whether or not either of us are right is this match right here. We're on the Rift. We're in 20 seconds in. We are looking really good as the red team looks to be doing a lane invade down in this bottom half for level 1.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Yeah. And you can kind of do this, right? Tarek is really good level 1. The Sejuani, if she wants to level E, is really good as well. You also have the Belveth, which is just really strong. You have so much. You basically have 4 abilities level 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see if they're able to... They're getting the full long invade here, and it's being answered by a mirrored push on the top side here. So it looks like they're just going to be trading vision back and forth in these early levels here, and then just moving on. I think this is mostly fine for the Bel'Veth, who kind of wants to sit back and gather up all that violet. Should it be good to go? Getting Drew coming in here, spotting out Aeon Crystal in the jungle. Not a whole lot to mention after that, but we do see something interesting. Take a look at that mini-map up there. Trundle starting there, red, which is a really aggressive start here. Might be caught out, though.
Yeah, this is obviously in response to the bot side getting pressured. You do have Mordekaiser there as well, so should be able to take this fine. Aeon is actually going to get the
they
Raptors.
got the level 2, but they are taking a lot of damage here. Blue team's still late to lane pretty considerably, but the bot lane from red team is also staying here just a little bit longer. Yeah, looks like they're not going to be able to try to get the red buff here. I think they're just going to have to concede that and move back to the blue side here. This is not an ideal start for Aeon Crystal. Going to lose out on one of their buffs, but at least they're able to walk away with a camp.
Yeah, and Cross heading up here. Just going to be heading back over to his own side onto the rift there and cleaning up the top side of the jungle there. This does mean Day One just controls top side. Not only would Mordekaiser win that in a vacuum, but you also have Trundle on that top side. So this is giving that power that we did not see from Day One in that first game where the Aatrox really struggled. The Mordekaiser is getting that opportunity to show off.
Yeah, as now we get, you know, these lanes have normalized at least a little bit. And we talked about just kind of both these halves of the bottom side here. Really, the only person who wants to be in this laning phase is Caitlyn right now. So I don't think we'll be seeing a whole lot of action between these two, but until the junglers show up. Good stun, actually. Admiral Potato able to land that there. Not a whole lot of follow-up from Idle Lol here, but we'll just have to back away here.
Now we're going to just kind of see, I think, for a while, it's just going to be farming. I think our only real capability of any pressure is going to be up on that top side because the Sejuani is going to struggle. Aeon coming down bot side.
Yeah, just as we said that, Aeon Crystal, double dash coming in, tries to flash for the stun. All they're going to do here is cut off Nausicaa, who waits on the flash, very patient, dashes forward, looking for the last bit of damage. First blood. Idle Lol on the bottom lane here. And be able to pick up that first blood for themselves, which means that's going to be a whole lot of harassment that's going to be for this Seraphine and Senna. On this bottom lane here, just going to be a whole lot of problems.
It's the pressure that we needed to see, right? If you give that Seraphine Senna time to scale, that becomes a bit of a problem, but they are weak early. They don't have the damage to actually go toe-to-toe, especially in a gank. Now they're just taking that into the mid lane.
Yeah, good dodge of the stun there. Admiral Potato on the wrong side of this fight doesn't have that flash anymore because of the fight down in the bottom lane, and they're going to fall down there. They're going to go over to Trundle here. Very good job by them. So yeah, it's about even out on kills here. Gold in the favor of the blue squad. Looking pretty good for the team that kind of wants to win maybe a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so that is at least a bit of a response there. It is just a little bit over aggression and Admiral Potato getting a little bit caught out. But it's still power plays, I think, for this side on the red side because they just do have that bot lane now in the right spot. Kassadin still scaling up almost level 6, so we're past that really big pain point, and that's when that can now start to become a problem on that bottom side, where if Senna and Seraphine are left alone and you have the Bel'Veth alongside the Kassadin coming down for a dive, there's not enough shields and heals to be able to tank that much.
Yeah, we do see a lot of pings coming down on this top river because Bel'Veth has been spotted out. Aeon Crystal looking for Day One here, popping the ghost, trying to get away, but here comes Lies and Eyes. Cross coming in from the side. There's going to be the troll pull coming up. Aeon Crystal taking incredibly low, and Cross is going to be picking up yet another kill for themselves as Lie and Eyes trying to run for their life here. They don't really have a lot of CC to slow down, but that's going to be the flash to the chomp. The damage is coming through. Are they going to be able to secure it? Day One is going to be picking up that kill as ISU once again looking for more domination over these grubs in the top half of the map.
Yeah, and I love seeing this too in the response of just the Sejuani being picked up. It was picked up so early. They went for the Mordekaiser with that, which is just in and of itself a bad matchup for the Sejuani, but especially because Sejuani wants to go that teleport TP and try to have a really solid early game. Mordekaiser is such a stat stick that it does not matter, and that is why you're able to see the Sejuani get beat down so hard, and the Trundle able to play around that. They get the grubs, they get that early game advantage up on the top side, and yeah, there's going to be a bot lane advantage on the red side, but that's just going to be picking up that dragon, which I would say is not as powerful as the grubs in the current state of the game.
Yeah. Lion Eyes still wants looking for that duel against Mordekaiser. Yami no Gemu pulled into the Shadow Realm, but not going to be able to take the star chips this time. Lion Eyes is going to be picking up the kill over the Mordekaiser in the top lane.
Yeah, so that's a good turnaround, a big turnaround for the Sejuani. But I still think it's just a factor of Mordekaiser did not buy items. So that's just going to be okay, cool. Now Mordekaiser comes back, is still really freaking strong. Sejuani does not get to do much in that lane still. It's just a small advantage that they finally get back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what you kind of have to look for in this top lane here, because ISU has been playing a lot around the top lane today. So we'll see if we see more attention up there, but grubs have been taken. This might be more attention up in this top half so early on, as Nausicaa looking for the root, going to be able to find it onto Admiral Potato, but not on the Idle Law. The troll pole comes down, but it doesn't look like they're going to look to commit anything more here, but they will get a little bit of more space inside their own jungle. Looks like they're looking to take that blue buff down there.
This is a little bit tough. It feels like they want to try and play around this bot side and do something, but they're so close to 6 for the Caitlyn Taric that you can't dive it. So you're going to get the bot lane or the bot side jungle, but you're not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. Now they're looking at Kassadin. Kassadin's level 6. You can't dive this either. You can pressure this, sure, and that's a great bit of money in terms of the extra plates here, but I don't think you ever get to dive this.
They definitely have put a lot of damage onto this mid turret here. Retrozing trying to maybe gain a little bit of ground back, but Drew is not giving it an inch, even under his own turret. Look at that! Ooh. Look at that harass, and even on top lane is no different. Dave 1 not wasting a single moment harassing the Sejuani up in the top lane.
And Sejuani's never gonna have an opportunity there. It's you got the one free kill, you pat yourself on the back and you feel good about it, then you go back to the lane and everything sucks again. Yeah. Now you have to deal with this. Lion Eyes at least staying alive for this, and Aeon's coming up, but Trundle is here for the response.
Yeah, that's going to be the zone coming down. The troll pole going to block Aeon Crystal here. Cross looking for a little bit more, but not going to be able to find the Bel'Veth this time, but there's still 2 HP bars underneath this turret. They're setting up the dive. You're right. Oh, he smites. Stops the back. They're trying to get the 2v2 underneath this turret here. Aeon Crystal immediately going on to day 1 here. There's going to be the stun popping, but now Yami no Gemu. They're in the Shadow Realm. Can Aeon Crystal survive for just a little bit longer? He's away from the turret. There's the troll pole from Cross. Retrozing is here. Knock up, double, stun, CC, shutdown for the Kassadin. Up in the top lane, even the best laid plans have been defeated up in the top lane in favor of Cosa Gaming.
Well, the best laid plans usually also don't take about 5 minutes to figure out what you're doing as well. That was the big problem there. They took so long. They got them in a really good spot, but then they didn't get the dive off correctly. The Mordekaiser ult grabbed Aeon, who's just able to dash around, get back under the tower. At that point, what do? You've taken so much time. Retrozing, because he can just ult his way back up to the top side and make sure that dive does not continue. You've lost your minion wave. You lost your cooldowns. You just go on Cross immediately and grab the kill.
Yeah, this is going to be it's going to be a little rough. Here's Retrozing. Yeah, they didn't find out Cross. They're just... I was about to be like, haha, I found him. And then I saw the damage. I was like, okay. All right. Pop off King, I guess. Red team, inside track on the grubs. Cross looking to contest.
This is really big, because if grubs go over to Trundle, that is now the double, if they get all 6, that's the Mightlings that are going to be running down the lane for the blue side. But on the other hand, though, Belveth gets the upgrade for the Grubs kills, so she really would love to be able to snag one of these.
Yeah, they just don't have the control over this
Good
area.
control.
Look at how much damage Drew was just able to do to Aeon Crystal in that short bit, and even Sejuani was in the pit, had to immediately leave. So that's the double Void Grubs up at the top, and now day one up against Lion Eyes here, going to be able to do a decent chunk of damage. No Mordekaiser ult to try to seal the deal there, but going to try to get away as the blue team maybe cutting off the red team here. The Hextech Drake is up. They do have their eyes on it. This might be another fight here soon.
This is also just a really smart play. Oh, now Trundle in trouble.
Yeah, stun, knock up, cross, still looking for some trouble here. That's Seraphine ultimate plus
Oh!
Senna as well. The troll, the Taric ultimate has come down, but they can't quite get in here. Cross taken incredibly low. The stun is going to be not good, as that's going to be the Sejuani ultimate on the top half here. They might be able to find Nausicaa. Lion Eyes is going to be able to find it. Drew looking to get in there with a Shurima Shuffle. Gets him on the backside here, but he's going to be another to fall by the blue team. Disconnector is going to be able to find a consolation prize, but that's so many of the blue team destroyed. They're going to get 1 kill and 1 tower in response, but I don't think the red team can cleanly get the dragon off of that play.
It's still not terrible, though, for Cosa, because they get the... Cassidy has 3 kills. That's never a bad spot to be in. We have Aroa at 12.5 minutes. That's a great start here with the tier stacking, with the boots as well. Retrozing is in a really good spot to continue this game later and later here, because that's just more scaling, more forward momentum for this Cassidy. They got a really good Taric ultimate. We said Taric ultimate needs to be in at the right time. It is the only reason why they were even able to turn around anything in that fight, because that was a very good, well-laid plan there for the blue side, for ISU. It's just Taric ult lets you reset, and that gave all the time in the world there for the Kassadin and the Sejuani to show up and do what they do best.
Yeah, speaking of doing what they do best, Lion Eyes being very patient here. This is a wider lane here, so Lion Eyes going in. Ooh, good cutoff here. They're going to be able to get the knock up. Stun, damage is good. Tanking up the turret. Retro Zing picks up the kill. The rest of the blue team here to maybe collapse, maybe try to turn this around, but they are long gone. They have made out like bandits.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse here. Retrozing level 9, getting closer and closer to the level 11. That makes it so difficult to catch that Kassadin. And remember, this Roa is going to tick at 10 minutes, give another level, which is going to be close to that level 16 point. That's a huge, huge power spike there for the Kassadin. And it feels almost inevitable with how close this game is right now.
Yeah, Retro Zing. Disconnector's got nowhere to go here. There's going to be the Seraphine ultimate coming across, but they're already incredibly low. This Retro Zing does so much damage. They're unstoppable. 5-0-1 on this Kassadin. At this stage, they don't even have that Seraph's Embrace finished yet. They're already doing this damage. Imagine what that mana plus AP scaling is going to look like. As now, we're seeing the red team contest this, the Shelly. There's the troll pole. Ultimate coming across. They're pulling back in Admiral Potato, taken down. That's a big ultimate now off the table for the red team here. Can they try to capitalize out of this? Idol is flashed over the wall inside the Shadow Realm here. They're going to come out in just a moment, but their HP bars are real low. Day one still looking for more. The claw is big, forcing the flash. They're still trying to chase. Get in there. 2 kills for the blue squad. Aeon Crystal still alive. Day one getting healed up, but they're in between 2 turrets, dashing right in. There's the damage from Belveth, but the turret is not enough. It's none for 2 in favor of the blue squad, and now they're getting paid the payoff for all those grubs they were harvesting earlier. The Shelly is going to go down.
It's so unfortunate here. That fight just seemed like it could have gone really well, but like you said, the Taric ult did not come through. Retrozing TPing in, expecting that to be there. Does not get it. Admiral Potato goes down. The entire team fight is a mess from that point on, and that is now the 3rd topside objective that Belveth has not been able to get, and that means no upgrades, no evolves for this fight. We have not been able to see the Belveth pop off like she needs to in order to be a relevant champion. It's getting harder and harder for Belveth to do what she needs to because she just has not gotten any of those objectives.
Yeah, and this is gonna, like you said, really gonna set her back here. Like, that Violet is very important, especially for when you need to get that Baron buff later. Day 1, down in the bottom lane versus Retro Zing and Aeon Crystal, taken incredibly low. That's gonna be the big shield. Might be able to heal off of that too. Scares them off for just a little bit here, but there's not gonna be a response from the blue team here because they are trying to push that mid lane. Here we go. They're gonna do, I think they already have someone in the driver's seat. Dun, 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 dun. I was trying to think of
honestly,
Coconut Mall at the top of my head, but I couldn't think of it.
We get the baby races. It's fine. I honestly think they should have. So with how much you lose more HP, I believe, if you were driving the Rift Herald, I think they should have just let it hit itself and then pop in it for the second charge.
Yeah.
That way you can actually get it into that second tower, because they used it on the first one, not able to get that second tower down, and that does leave that up for a little bit more protection. Now, Lion Eyes maybe would love to have that first tower up, but the ultimate will keep Sejuani alive. But now it's just a rotation up to continue trying to siege these towers.
Yeah, and this is a really good rotate here as well. I mean, that Sejuani ultimate is on a rather low cooldown on this at this state, but 4v1, I don't think, yeah, Lion Eyes, you don't want this smoke. That's already going to be so much damage. Immediate turn by ISU here. They are not letting Lion Eyes be cheeky with these backs. Is this fight? Are we fighting? What's up? All right. We got more of a push here as blue team is forced to stay up in this top half of the map here. They do have the damage. Lion Eyes is taking a whole lot here. There's the stun coming across. Not going to land onto anyone here. Cross getting in here. Here come the grubs. The grubs are coming in clutch. You thought you were keeping them here. You're not. They're not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with them. As that's another sun temple here. Yeah.
This is where ISU want to be. They have the Azir, the Senna, the Seraphine. They have so much range here that they can just continue to push. They now have a Azir turret behind them for extra protection. They just get to siege over and over again. Kassadin is the power point of this team, and he's stuck in the bot side with the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, they can't give that up because Mordekaiser's just going to take more and more turrets, but look at what they're losing in the meantime here. The CC is fine, but the turret isn't. There's the Taric ultimate coming across, going to be able to block the Senna ultimate. Idle Law has made it into this fight. Shurima Shuffle knocks it back into the team as the blue team picks up one. Can they find more? Drew's taking incredibly low. Admiral Potato's going to be the one securing that kill there, but Lion Ice is on the backside here. Nausicaa and Disconnector are going to be the one taking them down, and Idle Law taken on down by Day 1 inside the Shadow Realm on the top side here. They might even look to just end the game here.
Yeah, massive patience there from Drew to be able to hold on to that Shurima Shuffle until the Taric ult was gone. Wait for that to end and then immediately pop it on them to get them out of that fight, get them pushed into the team and just win it from there. Really smart stuff from ISU, showing that level of coordination with this team that we expected them to have.
Yeah, this was looking to be another upset for ISU. ISU came into today losing to Reluminate earlier on in the day, and you know, looking at this start, it was looking actually rather good for Cosa Gaming here, a team who, you know, was here last year. They're, you know, a returning team for the NACL Open Qualifier here, but they haven't had the best, they didn't really have the best kind of rapport in the previous year, and so now, you know, they had a decent early game. They were doing pretty well. They were going toe-to-toe with ISU, and once again, a rather good collegiate team here in the NACL Open qualifiers. And we're like, is this going to be another upset against ISU? And now it's completely turned on their heads. Pre-20 minutes, a Nexus turret is already down.
Yeah, this is looking rough. Now, Kassadin, we're still waiting for that Rod of Ages to pop here and give that little bit of extra levels, the experience needed there. It's unfortunately looking like it might be a little bit too late. Now, they have a tower up. There's at least something to play off of here, but now Baron is going to be started up, and you still are waiting on the Taric ultimate. You don't have any other way to really fight this. It's just going to be taken for free.
Yeah, and you hate to see that here too, because this team is already just so far ahead. It's more resources denied to your Belveth. Retrozing is in a position to try to maybe flank here if they overstay. Definitely stopping the back on Day 1. This blue team is rather spread out here. I think they might just take the back. They have a teleport coming back from Azir here back into the mid lane. I wonder if they just go down mid lane and try to just end the game.
It's very possible, and it looks like they're setting up to just do the same thing they did up on that top side, and they can just get away with it, because what's the response here? You basically just have Sejuani to engage on this. There's no other real engage opportunity. Again, your Kassadin is pushing up on the top side, not here to help defend this. The siege is just going to continue.
Yeah, Kassadin being not involved in this fight is huge, because now it's a 4v4, and that's in the favor of the team that just has more gold. Look at it. It's 11,000 gold separates these two teams. That's an astronomical amount of gold to have at this stage. There's the Seraphine ultimate on 3, Senna on 2. It doesn't matter if this Taric ultimate tries to save you here. 2 members already down. It's 2 for 1. They're knocking on the front door of this Nexus turret. Holy moly. I don't think Cosa Gaming has anything to be saved here, as look at even Mordekaiser in the bottom lane is doing so much work.
Yeah,
Here he
they
goes.
just continue to push.
Yeah, this is just like Isis goes down again. The tankiest member of the team fallen low as the blue team cleans house. The last Nexus turret is down, and the troll is just wailing on that Nexus. Their second round is more fruitful than their first. They win the game in a clean 22 minutes.
Very controlled, very well put together. ISU coming back strong after a rough first game. I was worried about it. I started getting a little scared when the Kassadin did start getting those kills. Unfortunately, Kassadin just was never in any of these fights. And I think that's a big problem for Cosa to look back on this game and maybe try to figure out, hey, this is probably where things started to go wrong. Kassadin is your entire team. He's not there for any of that siege potential. He can't outsplit the Mordekaiser. He's just going to lose that. He's not going to be able to outpush it. You need him there for the fights. But credit to ISU capitalizing on that as best they can and just sieging nonstop.
Yeah, and man, I wonder if that play up in the top lane by Lion Eyes and you know, the rest of the red squad there, you know, stopping those backs, you know, just kind of letting them, you know, stay in that top lane. I wonder if that was like a mistake almost, right? Because like there's like, okay, I mean, I guess we can stay if you want, right? Like we can go and push down your lane. Like that's not going to stop us. We've got the whole squad here now. And then they lose top lane turret after top lane turret, and even lose a Nexus turret off that play as well. The second that the blue team ISU was just fully grouped up. We're like, okay, I mean, you stopped our backs, congrats, but now like what are you going to do now?
Yeah, it doesn't really mean anything. It's
Yeah.
just continual pressure, and I'm very glad to see ISU recognize that as soon as they saw Kassadin in these side lanes. It's cool. Set up the Azir turret, use the Senna, use the Seraphine, use the Azir, the extra range that those champions have. Who stops that? Caitlyn can't clear enough waves for that, and you have Taric, Bel'Veth, Sejuani to help you. None of those champions are ever touching the wave, and that just lets you hit nonstop. On top of the fact that we saw 6 grubs picked up in the early game as well, so it just made that multiplicably worse.
Yeah, there's such insanely good control of that top half of the map here by ISU, and I'm excited to see how they continue through these Swiss rounds. But that's going to do it for us here on round 2 of Swiss, here on day 1 of the NACLQ. Stay tuned for more stuff. Make sure to press that subscribe button.